Hey guys, if you've ever been intimidated by creating a business plan because it'll take hours or days of gathering numbers and putting them on paper only to result in a business plan that, quite frankly, you can't do, it doesn't give you anything specific or actionable, then this session is for you. What we're going to do is go through with an average agent, not numbers or ability or skill, but an average agent in the sense that she won't have some unusual scenario or situation or circumstance. And we're going to go with her and put down her goals on paper, the market realities that she's dealing with, and then ultimately break down not only an hourly breakdown for the week, but we're going to end up getting the smallest actionable unit, which is the number of leads that she needs. And from there, we can easily come up with some advertising and marketing programs that will help her generate those leads. So stay tuned for this short session. We recorded a couple days ago, but the first thing you're going to need to do if you want to follow along is go to recalculators.com. And then once you're there, you'll scroll down to the business planning calculator here, and we'll go ahead and join the interview, the session with Jesse.
So I like to start off every conversation I have with an agent when we're getting ready to talk about advertising. And the truth is, I could show you how to sort of haphazardly go out and advertise, but that wouldn't necessarily help you achieve your goals. So I like to do a little bit of planning first, and then once we've come up with a goal for where we want to head, how many leads we need, which is sort of the smallest actionable item for that goal, how many leads we need, then it's really easy to come up with an advertising plan such that we can meet that lead number, okay? And this tool is going to help us do it. So if you look, there's a section that says questions, and then there's a series of numbers it's going to ask for. So if you wouldn't mind just saying it out loud as we go through these numbers so that I can follow along with you. The first question is, how much money do you want to make in the next 12 months?
100,000. I was thinking gross.
Okay. Well, we can put 100,000 net. Really what it's going to do is it's going to add in a 10% marketing budget and whatever your split is, whatever your broker takes from you. And that would be your gross. So it's not going to be taking out taxes or anything like that.
Okay.
What's the average sale price in your market? And a ballpark figure here is totally fine.
Is 262,000.
260. You know your numbers. That's
262,740, but.
Well, there you go. I'm impressed. So 262. So you want to write that out in the calculator.
Okay.
The next question is, what's the average commission side? And generally this would be like 2.5% or 3%.
Yeah,
or if you're in one of those markets where it's a mix, you put 2.75. You said 2.5%?
2.5, yeah.
Okay. And then the next question, it says company agent split percentage. It's really just asking how much do you keep from your broker?
Well, 100%, but we have fees. But it is.
Okay. What are those fees?
It's only like, maybe $400 per transaction.
Per transaction?
Yeah.
Okay. So we could figure out what that is as a percentage real quick here. So if 262,000 is your average home price times 2.5%, that means your average commission is $65.50, and 400 as a percentage of that is just over 6%. So we'll call it 6%. So what you'd want to put in that company agent split percentage is 94%.
Okay.
So then the next question is, how much of your business is buyer side business? And this could even be like, what do you want it to be? So if you're at 100% buyer side, but you want to get more listings in the next year, we can build that into the plan.
No, I was at a total of 13 two buys. So I'm more
So
listing.
you do a lot more listings. So you want to call it like 30% buyer side or 20% buyer side?
Yeah, but
Mm.
I need to increase that to reach my goals. So
Okay. So you want to do 50-50 for the next year? There's no wrong
uh,
answers here.
yeah, I do 40%
Okay.
buy.
Perfect. So the last numbers, the assumptions are already built in. And I typically tell agents, unless you just happen to know your numbers here, to just leave them. Because these are
Okay.
based on the national averages. So for example, the number of leads needed per closing, that number comes from NAR. That'll at least get you in the ballpark. So then you hit the calculate or compute button. And what do you get? What does it show you? It'll show you gross commission, total closed transactions, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, total closed transactions 18. I was thinking 24. 18
Okay.
is better.
So yeah, it may be because, when you and I had talked before, you had done REO business where the average home price was less. So now that we'll
Correct.
be increasing that, you won't have to do as many transactions. So 1.5 a month is a very reasonable plan. The number that I really like to hone in on is that one at the bottom, the total number of leads needed. What does that say?
Yeah, that's a lot. 744.
Okay, so you laugh and say that's a lot. Having done this with hundreds of agents at this point, I look at that and go, that's going to be easy peasy. And I know
Good.
744 leads over the course of a year, it's a big number right now, but if we were to divide that by 12 and get us a monthly number, it's really only 62 leads a month, or about
Okay.
2 leads a day, right? So that breaks it down into sort of bite-sized chunks. So what I tell most agents is if you have like a piece of note paper or something that sits on your desk on a regular basis, write that number 62 somewhere prominent and keep that handy, because every single month you're going to want to do whatever it takes to generate that number of leads. Okay? And I'm going to, in a moment, we're going to walk through a plan of action for how to generate that number of leads. But that number is going to be the important number. And there's, of course, tons of ways that you can generate leads, or heck, you could even go out and buy leads.
So I hope you enjoyed that session with Jackie. As you can see, it took 5 minutes to generate a business plan from scratch with some simple variables that you can either get from your MLS or you may already even know them, and putting your goals down on paper. And we cut it off before we went into the exact details of her plan because, quite frankly, she's one of our members. She has our tools, and not all of you will have the tools, and I want to make this applicable to everyone. So one thing that I will point out, if you have a lead number, if you've followed along and done the business plan and you have a lead number, we have some strategies for how to generate some of those leads that don't require you to have our tools. So if you go to GorillaRealty.com, you can see it on the page here. You'll see we have some strategies. A couple of them, like I said, don't require any tools other than the ones you may already have or the ones that you can build from scratch. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Appreciate you guys following along as we go through this business planning series. Thanks a lot, guys.